All right, welcome back. We are chatting this morning with TMZ, and TMZ had asked the public to send in pictures of people in Congress on vacation, and we're learning more about that this morning.
Yeah, they got a lot of pictures, a lot of footage of congressmen, senators on vacation. And joining us this morning is Charles Baudier, the executive producer of TMZ. Good to have you here this morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill and Aaron. How are you doing?
Doing great. Now, some of this coverage, like Lindsey Graham at Disney World, has gone viral, and people are obviously taking note. How did TMZ make the decision to focus on the lives of lawmakers?
I will say it was sort of an impulsive reaction to something an interview we did last week on TMZ Live. We were talking to a TSA officer from Idaho, actually, who was just struggling. Obviously had not been paid in a long time, and she was down and out, struggling to support her family. And we just got angry about it. We were very upset. And so we decided, this was the day before Congress was going on their 2-week recess, and we said, you know what, this is unfair that they get to go on this 2-week vacation while people like this TSA officer are struggling. And so we said, you know what, if they're going to go on vacation, let's get some photos of them on vacation. Let's see how they are living it up, enjoying their life of leisure, while there's so many thousands of federal workers who are struggling to make ends meet. So that was the genesis of it, and people have responded. They have been sending us lots and lots of photos when they encounter their members of Congress out everywhere around the world.
Yeah, I know it's been a tough time, members of Congress trying to get the deals done, both sides going back and forth, and then they do have their, recess for vacations. But again, still, it's at the hands of other people not being able to be compensated for what they're doing. So can you tell us a little more about the Scotland trip that a bunch of lawmakers were on?
Yeah, I would say, do you know where your congressman or congresswoman is? Because we found 30 of them. 30 on a trip to Scotland. So a TMZ viewer is over in Scotland and saw a couple of Congress members in this group at Edinburgh Castle, and they sent that photo in, and we started making some calls about the people that we could identify. And what we came to find out from some sources on the Hill, that there were not just, initially we thought there were 3 members of Congress. I think it was someone from Wisconsin, Iowa, and I can't remember the third one. But what we found out after we made these calls, there are actually 30 members of Congress, and we've since identified several more. None of them are from Washington. But 30 members on this trip, and it's a congressional delegation that's over there, and which means that this is paid for by taxpayers, which is also enraging. But we also found out that this typically isn't done when there's a shutdown. These congressional delegations, they call them CODELs, they happen all the time, where members of Congress travel around the world, different places, to meet with local politicians there and some business owners. But it's never done when there's a shutdown. Now, for some reason, maybe because this is only a partial shutdown, this one went through. But yes, the U.S. taxpayers, we are funding this trip at the same time that you have, federal workers who aren't being paid and are, as I said, struggling to make ends meet here. And yesterday rent was due. They've got car payments. They've got to feed their families. Yet these trips are still going on, and Congress can't, for whatever reason, won't compromise to reach a deal to fund the government here to make sure these people can be paid.
Yeah, you've also caught lawmakers on both sides of the aisle lying about where they were. You have the photos to back it up. Are you getting any response from these lawmakers?
We have intentionally, when we have done these posts, not said anything about their parties, because for us this is a completely nonpartisan effort here. Because the Republicans and the Democrats, they're both to blame, because the deal here is they've got to compromise, and they're both unwilling to do that. So when we write the post, we're not mentioning anything about party. The only time we mention their party is when their spokespeople respond to us, and in their response, inevitably, they always blame the other party, and they say, you know, I voted 4 times for this. It's the other side that isn't getting the deal done. So it has been nonpartisan, yes, but we've seen people, you know, Lindsey Graham was at Disney World. That was quite an image of him with the bubble wand. We also got Robert Garcia, Congressman Robert Garcia from here in California. He was in Vegas at the Fontainebleau and offered his explanation for that. He said, look, I'm here visiting my family, and he said he doesn't mind what TMZ is doing. He thinks this is a good thing to do. He wants to shine a light on the fact that Congress isn't getting the deal done. A lot of what we've heard, a lot of people say, a lot of them are blaming Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, saying he should not have let us go home. We should have stayed and worked out a deal.
Charles Boudier, the executive producer of TMZ. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You too. And don't forget to catch TMZ right here on Fox 13 weekdays. That's at 2 p.m. Let's switch gears now.